I could be asked to solve an inequality that starts off looking like a fraction. And what I want to draw your attention to at just the very start is they are asking me to solve this inequality, but they've told me that x has to be a real number. So no matter what value of x you get, it has to be a real number. But they've also said straight out from the start that x cannot be minus 1 in this question. So if you want to pause the video and try and answer for yourself, why is it that x cannot be minus 1 in this particular question? And the reason is that if I sub in minus 1 for x, minus 1 down in the denominator here is going to be minus 1 plus a 1, which is 0. And the denominator can never be 0. I can never divide by 0 in maths. It's not possible. If you try it on your calculator, it'd be a math error. So from the start here, this is something that I have to note, and that if I get, try and give an answer of x equals minus 1 at the end, I'm going to have to remove that as a possible answer. So I have 2x plus 4 all over x plus 1 less than or equal to 3. Ideally, what I'd like to do is, it'd be nice if I could just multiply both sides by x plus 1 and try and simplify that and continue on. But x plus 1, well, we don't know if that's a plus number or a minus number. And if I multiply by a plus number on both sides, the sign stays the same. But if I multiply by a minus number on both sides, I'd have to change the sign. And like if x was 6 plus 1 is 7, I'd be multiplying both sides by 7. The sign would stay the same. If x was minus 3 plus 1 is minus 2, I'd be multiplying both sides by minus 2, so that means the sign would change. So I can't do this, even though it would be the most straightforward thing to do in order to try and get rid of my fraction. I'm not able to do it because there'd be a question mark over, would the sign stay as it is, or would I change it? So in order to get around this, I'm going to multiply both sides by x plus 1 to be squared. The reason is that no matter what this is, when you square it, it'll be a plus number. So I now know that I'm multiplying both sides by a plus number, which means the sign will stay the same. So what is x plus 1 to be squared? It's x plus 1 by x plus 1. And I'm multiplying that by 2x plus 4 all over x plus 1. And over here, 3 times x plus 1 by x plus 1. And this now happens, which is great because now I can get rid of my fractions. So multiplying out the left, I end up with 2x squared plus 4x plus 2x plus 4 less than or equal to 3 times x squared. So I'm multiplying this out first. X squared plus 1x plus 1x plus 1. That's 2x squared plus 6x plus 4 less than or equal to 3 times x squared plus 2x plus 1. And I just keep going until I've both sides cleaned up. And now you can subtract things from both sides, and I'm just going to subtract 3x squared from both sides, which gives me, oh, that's gone, and I end up with minus 1x squared. If I subtract 6x from both sides, well, that actually gives me nothing on both sides there with the x's, and then I'm going to subtract 3 from both sides. And the reason I do that is because I want to have a 0 on the right hand side. So I subtract 3x squared, a minus 6x and a minus 3, so I'd have 0 on the right hand side. So I'm going to multiply everything by a minus 1 there, because my brain is used to seeing a minus or a plus x squared. So if I multiply both sides by a minus 1, that's going to change this sign now. So that gives me a 1x squared minus 1, and 0 times anything is still 0. So now I'm going to do what I do with my quadratic inequalities that are greater than or equal to 0 or less than or equal to 0. I'm going to try and sketch this. So we know that it's going to be a U shape, but I just don't know, you know, is there, a bit to the left. In order to figure that out, I need to find the roots. So in order to find the roots, I'm going to let x squared minus 1 equal 0. Loads of ways to do this. So I'm just going to do it by the difference of two squares. You could also just, you know, try and bring every, you know, numbers to the right, etc. So because it's the difference of two squares, put down my two brackets, first minus the second, first plus the second. And I let each factor equal to 0. And I find my roots are minus 1 and 1. So now when I go to sketch this is the one I've picked to sketch. Minus 1 and 1. And I know it's a U-shaped. And again, it's only a sketch, so I don't know how low it goes. But now I'm looking for, where is my graph greater than or equal to 0? Where is it? Above or equal to 0. And so I just need to describe this now. Well, if x is less than or equal to minus 1, so anything back here, you'll be looking up for the graph. So yeah, where is it greater than or equal to it? So I'll be looking up for the graph is what I'm looking at here. So I look up when I'm anywhere back here, which is x is less than or equal to minus 1. And then when I'm off up here, that's x is greater than or equal to 2. So this is what I would be giving as my answer, except I highlighted for myself back up here that x cannot be equal to minus 1. So I actually cannot give this exact answer. I'm going to have to, this is a problem here. I've said one of my answers is x is less than or equal to minus 1. I'm going to have to change that. X can be less than minus 1. It just can't be equal to it. Mathematically, they told me that from the start. X is greater than or equal to 2. And that's my final answer with that. So that's the answer that I'm giving.